Hello Flight Sim fans, this is Zeus here, and today we're playing X-Plane 10, and this is my Bonanza A36 with the E1000 PFD, and that's about it. But the reason I'm doing this on X-Plane 10 today is because a lot of people seem to think that Ortho4XP is only for X-Plane 11. It's not an X-Plane 11 exclusive. It was actually created for X-Plane 10. So, and currently I'm sitting at Isle of Man in the UK, and let's just go ahead and take off. We've got a hell of a headwind here. I had to turn the World War weather off, and it just kept the wind, so I just said, well, forget it. We'll make it interesting. Because the World War weather is crappy right now. It's like a 2,000 foot ceiling. You wouldn't be able to see anything, and it's just typical UK weather. You know, just cloudy and crappy, I guess. Okay, so let's go ahead and release the park and brake. I already had the plane fired up. So we're going to take off. We've got a hell of a headwind, 23 knot headwind. Coming nearly down the runway, or just across the runway. So the plane's going to act a little crazy here for a second. And let's try to get the rudder pedals adjusted here. So it's going to take us forever to get up to BY. So go ahead and take off at 90 knots. Let's see if she'll take off. Okay. There's the gear. Just see that's the one thing I don't really see in X-Plane 11. I don't see the wind affecting the plane that much as it does in X-Plane 10. Just add that that level of realness. Okay, so we're just taking off from runway 8, so we're going to turn north and gain some altitude here over the Isle of Man. Now you can see here's the ortho photos. You see there's not a lot of, for me there's not a lot of trees, like there's not a lot of drawn trees, but I mean it still looks great to me, even on X-Plane 10. So if you have X-Plane 10 or you want to buy X-Plane 11 but your computer can't run it, but it can run X-Plane 10, go ahead and buy X-Plane 11, because with X-Plane 11 now, while it's in beta, you also get the full version of X-Plane 10. So, you know, you can enjoy, if you love flying, you can enjoy flying X-Plane 10 until you upgrade your computer, you know? So, and then you already have X-Plane 11. So once you've upgraded your computer, you can play it. So let's slide over here a little bit more. It's weird how your position's kind of like right here, and the A pillar right here is totally blocking your view, but I like to slide over a little bit, kind of like off to the right of the yoke, if you took an yoke off. Just fly up to the north side of the island, and we'll come back down the other side. But I created this tile a little differently than most people would create. I use the actual height map for the island. So I force Ortho4XP to actually use a height map instead of just pulling what it's going to pull off the internet or off the network. So I still don't get the same level of like the buildings drawn in X-Plane 10 aren't the same level as what they are in, like I don't see any buildings. Well, I see a couple buildings down there. They're not at the same quality or the same level as they are on X-Plane 11. But that's cool because it just means more frame rates. So I want to get it to about 4,000 feet. And I'm using Fly with Lua, and if you've never used it before, it's up here. So I have macros, like I have automatically set my transponder, automatically set my altimeter. So I really don't have to worry about that. And it helps because some of these things, like especially on this plane, if you've never seen this plane before, and you got the E1000 here, to do anything, like if you want to change the heading, you just don't do this. For one thing, you know, the mouse scroll is actually the freaking zoom, which is completely stupid. But you actually have to do this number, you know, drag it, grab it and drag it. So you see. So if you want to change the heading, you have to press this until it's purple and then drag it around. And then I forgot even what this does. This is course. So if you want to change a course, and then I mean you have to have, and then if you click the button, you change your damn speed tape over here. So Fly with Lua comes with a little autopilot panel over here for planes that have stupid controls like this Coronado A36, which has these drag things. I mean, you use your mouse scroll button. You use it here too, but I mean the mouse scroll, it's hit and miss because you know you have to scroll. I mean scroll is to zoom and not just to select. So I just use on planes like this to have the controls like that you just can't click. I just set it for here. So I can turn the autopilot on. So here's the autopilot's on now. So I'm going to set the altitude for I'm going to keep this altitude here, but I can do everything from the panel over here. So, but the cool thing about this is I can go outside the plane like this, and not sure exactly what this is. This is part of Fly with Lua also, but I can go outside the plane and just go ahead and control my autopilot from the external view. I know it's not realistic, but when you're outside the plane, you don't have to keep shifting views to use your autopilot. It also has my squawk code down here, and I can set my barometric pressure here also. So nav 1, com 1. You know, coming along the north side of the island now. I'm going to go ahead and just turn over to the right a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, don't let the fact that your computer can't run X-Plane 11 keep you from using Ortho4XP, because you can use Ortho4XP. It's totally fine on X-Plane 10. And that, like I said, it's built for X-Plane 10. It just happens to work with X-Plane 11. The reason I don't fly this A36 on X-Plane 11 is because it doesn't actually work on X-Plane 11 like it should. There's a lot of Coronado planes that don't work like they should on X-Plane 11. Like this one, the gear door here stays open. Even though the gears are up, this door stays open. Both doors on the two rear landing gear stay open. I have the Pilatus PC-12. The right generator doesn't work for that plane on X-Plane 11. I have the Saratoga TC also, but I think it actually will work on X-Plane 11. I'd have to see. I can't remember whether it does it. We're flying over, I guess this is an abandoned. I guess this would be an abandoned runway. World War II maybe? I'm not familiar with Isle of Man. That's what it looks like. It looks like an old World War II runway, airstrip. Yeah, so I'm probably going to do a video of this Isle of Man also in X-Plane 11 when I get a chance, but what I really want to reiterate here is that this is not just for, that's funny how that road goes across that runway. Ortho4XP is not just for X-Plane 11. X-Plane 10. I still enjoy playing X-Plane 10. And just because X-Plane 11's out, it just doesn't mean I stop playing X-Plane 10. I like some of the planes on X-Plane 10 that aren't available on X-Plane 11. And some of the versions of the plane, like the Cirrus jet on here, which is the Cirrus SF-50 on X-Plane 10, or X-Plane 11 rather, doesn't have a functioning autopilot. I mean, the autopilot is limited. On X-Plane 10, it's not limited. You actually fly VOR and use your GPS and set it to an airport or a VOR intersection or anything like that, and then you can fly those as you would in a normal plane. Just fly along the coast up here. I do enjoy flying this A36. The Bonanza is probably one of my favorite general aviation aircraft, along with the Cessna 182, which I do not have. But I do enjoy flying it. It's my favorite small GA aircraft. I have the Palladius also, and that's also a fun plane to fly. And if you really don't find yourself flying it, you know, like here, you find yourself throwing it on autopilot and just enjoying the scenery. I just have the basic Garmin 430 on here from X-Plane 10. Nothing fancy. It's a beautifully detailed cockpit and cabin. A 6-passenger. You have your levers for your RPM, your mixture, and your throttle here. Of course, your gear selector, gear switch, outside air temperature, buses, which none of them of course work. These all work here. Cabin heat, pull on. At least I thought it worked. Maybe it don't. These don't work. Oxygen flow on, so oxygen, that works. Defrost, that works. Cabin heat, that works. I don't know why this one doesn't work. Floodlights work, panel lights work. So yeah, it's an extremely fun plane to fly. The sound effects are awesome. I mean, they're better than the stock planes because you have SASL, which is pulling all your stuff. So if you don't know what SASL is, it's a virtual. It's like a virtual server for Lua scripts. So you can. It's kind of like Fly with Lua, but it runs them all on a server. At least that's what the database says. Because I was looking at, I've got Fly with Lua, so I can create Lua scripts. I was also looking at SASL, which also allows you, but the way it runs it is a little different than what Fly with Lua does. So we're gonna use our trusty, and this one's also more precise. We're gonna use this to take us down to about 2,000 feet. Come off the throttle here some. Land back at Isle of Man. Just a quick short. Well, let's take it off autopilot and just. Because as I throttle back to almost idle when I get the gear up, alarm telling us that our gear is still up. So I'm just gonna really fly out around this point right here and come back into land. We still have that wind though. It's coming from 128, so about southeast. Still at 23 knots. Now I was flying this morning. I flew to Buffalo, so you still on the 430. I flew to Buffalo and the Pilatus. But yeah, the height map gives a little bit better detail than I think the standard orthos do. I mean, when you look down here at these ledges here, I mean, the diameter looks real. Kind of lost sight of the runway here now. There it is. The A36 is really easy to fly. There's the runway I want. So we're going to drop a notch of flaps and lower the gear. I just want to reposition myself in the cockpit, so it's still the 3D cockpit. I just want to be kind of centered. We now have the wind coming straight at us, so we have to adjust for that headwind on the power. Hoping this is a runway. It does look like one. I didn't really look to see where the runways were. I might actually be landing on taxiway, but we'll switch over to this other runway. We have enough time to get there. I'm pretty sure that is a runway, but I don't want to take my chances. I'll land on the runway we just took off on. An extra speed so I can make a tighter turn. And those need to be put up. The RPM and mixture. Now we're fighting the wind a little bit. Get down here and kick some rudder into it, and hopefully she'll straighten up over the runway. So we drop the throttle back. Oh, we're gonna hit the ground hard.
Transponder set to standby.
We bounced. So that kind of sucked. What happens is I pull the throttle way back too much, and with that headwind, it just forces us to have that hard landing. It kind of sucked. But I said I've been so used to playing X-Plane 11, and just the wind doesn't really affect the plane like it does on this game. So it takes a little getting used to going from X-Plane 11 back to X-Plane 10. But despite the interesting landing, thank you for watching, and just a reminder, you don't have to have X-Plane 11 to enjoy using sceneries from Ortho4XP. And thanks for watching.